Hi gamers! So today's new patch for Rivals 2 introduces the summer event and a lot of overall changes to Rivals of Aether, but not necessarily balance changes, more like things like monetization changes, and a few cool fun new features. So let's go ahead and dive in. They start by saying, summer's officially begun in the world of Aether. Time to get those swimsuits on and join us for a return of our summer theme, Pool Party Splashback. Our latest bundle includes 2 new Pool Party skins, Pool Party Slade and Pool Party Arcane, along with their own icons to match, plus coins and bucks. Check out the trailer. So we're not going to watch that today, but we can check out this fun little graphic. They say that players equipping any of the new event skins or any of the other summer skins will get 20% bonus XP on the event track, which is actually something pretty notable right now because our event track is a lot longer. In today's bundle though, you get the really fun Arcane and the really cool Slade skin, and then also Olympia's for free on that bundle track, which is actually something really notable. So they say that we have a new event track rotation. Yo, I'm throwing this in here during editing because I forgot to mention it, but if you use my code LASTSTOCK, you get some extra Aether bucks and you support me in my weekly events, and I'll be your BFF forever. Okay, thank you, back to the video. With the launch of this year's pool party event, we're also adjusting how our event schedule works. Events will now last 3 months and have expanded content and rewards to match the excess length. Moving to this schedule allows us to give a similar amount of rewards for the time players compared to the old event lengths, while freeing up some of our dev time that used to be spent on new themes each month just for larger impact features. I scrolled through the event track, it's 50 tiers long. You get some skins from last year's summer event. I'm not sure what you get if you already owned them, I guess we'll figure out pretty soon. And you get lots of cool stuff on there. They also say, with this summer's free event track, you can unlock the Pool Party Olympia skin, Pool Party Platform, Pool Party Slade emote, the Pool Party's Surf Explosion, that's a big word, Death Effect, just like a typical monthly event. However, you also get new stuff like 2 returning skins, 2 new palettes for each returning skin, 2 new palettes for the Pool Party Olympia skin, 2 new Pool Party icons, 2 new prefix titles, 2 new suffix titles, a new Pool Party critical hit, and even more Aether bucks and Aether coins. So you get lots of cool stuff in here. I feel like overall it's a good deal if you like the event theme. However, let's say like in the past, like if you didn't love an event theme, it only lasted for a month, right? Like you'd be on an event theme you rocked with pretty soon. Now if you don't love an event theme, you'll be waiting a little bit longer, but to me, I feel like the events will feel much more like full events and not like monthly skins shop rotations. Next up, we're introducing the Announcer. We're excited today to add a highly requested feature. Rivals 2 now has an announcer. Christopher Mayer brings tons of energy and extra oomph to the menus and gameplay. You may recognize his voice as well from many of our monthly event trailers. Here's a quick little clip of how he sounds in game, just in case you were curious.
Orsburn, Loxodont, Maple, Arcane, Absa, Raster, Rano, Rag, Lorena.
If you prefer things quieter, you can also always disable this new feature in your audio settings. We plan to offer other types of announcers in the future as well as a way to switch between them. So let us know what options you want to hear. I suggest if you want to hear a really great voice, write to Rivals of Aether on Twitter, write to them on Reddit, they might have a TikTok or an Instagram. They got the YouTube livestream, you can go in there, you can text your local senator or representative and say, I want LASTSTOCK, I want Mathenoid 8 as the content announcer. I think that's important. Next up though, let's go ahead and move on to the new cosmetic types, titles, and nameplates. Players can now customize a 2-word combination title that appears alongside their name. Some of you unlock prefixes and other suffixes, so you can mix and match your favorites to add some fun flair to your tag. These will be available through in-game events, the coin shop, and buck shop, and even sometimes from live Rivals events. So I went in here and I actually scrolled through it. They kind of have a lot of generic ones right now. So like Arcane is the Puddle Stomper, so you can have the Puddle Magnet, because Lorena is the Crowd Magnet, right? Or she's the Crown Magnet, I don't actually know. I probably should know that, I play this game a lot. But this is super fun. Behind each title is a colored nameplate that's customizable as well. You'll unlock one this month in the new event track. We thought these would also be a great way to celebrate Pride Month. So we've added a free nameplate bundle to the shop, just like the Icon bundle last year, featuring tons of fun Pride-themed nameplates. Next, let's quickly run through our new shop items before we get on to a few general changes with the game. First of all, we have Cool Blue Galvin. I know he's been highly requested for a good minute. Then we have a new few icons, but they don't have any photos for him here. And a few new ranked shop icons, including Champion Slade. They don't have a photo for him either, but we're going to use the power of our imagination. and figure that one out. Next, we have a handful of audio updates. The Announcer feature was added, as well as the Announcer settings in the menu, which we already talked about. Pool Party Arcane has a custom win jingle and deflating sounds when he gets KO'd. That's kind of sad, I don't like that. I don't want my Arcane to get KO'd, so I'm just going to win. Slade's up special sound timing has been fixed, and in an earlier patch, when Raster's new voice lines, we removed the lines Go With The Flow and Too Easy from Taunts 1 and 2 respectively. Some players requested that we bring them back, so we're adding a chance for them to play together with the newer ones. This is kind of weirdly worded, I think it's just like an RNG chance which voice line you'll get. Next though, let's move on to the gameplay updates. First, there's some matchmaking improvements. Ranked matchmaking now has additional constraints that ties to keep matches between 200 elo difference. The goal with this change is to avoid really lopsided matches and to let matchmaking work a little longer to find a more balanced game, especially within the most active and populated skill ranges. Ultimately, it's a balance between matchmaking time and finding ideal matches. We think that this will improve things and not increase matchmaking time too badly on average, but we'll keep a close eye on it. Here's how it works. The rule limits you to 200 away from an adjusted version of your elo. To account for varying player counts depending on where you are and the skill curve, this rule applies primarily to within elos 650 and 1350. And outside that range, adjust elo is clamped into it. What this means, if 200 away from your elo is one of those bounds, then it includes the full breadth of players in that direction unless the existing matchmaking rules decide if it's a valid match, limited to a max of 1 rank away, and gradually increasing elo distance. This allows the rule to be relatively strict for players near the medium of our skill curve, where the most players are, without being overly restrictive as you move outward into ranges with fewer players and wider elo gaps. For example, if you're 1000 elo, you'd have a range of 800 to 1200 for opponents that the constraint would try to enforce. If you're 1200 elo, you would have a minimum bound of 1000, but your upper limit hits that 1350 limit, so our normal rules that constrain you to a max of 1 rank away would apply instead, leaving you with a range of 1000 to 1500 after expanding fully. So basically the goal is to allow matchmaking to be a little bit more tighter and accurate at those mid ranks, and then once you get to the higher ranks and then to the really low ranks, you're not going to have quite as big of a clamp on you, because not as many players are there, right? So it's going to try to just pull kind of the fastest match that it can in those senses to not give you too much of a queue time. Next, for general patch notes, we added an announcer. I didn't know that yet. Grounded knockback velocity decay will now use the character's default ground friction value. Previously, it would decay by the character's current ground friction value, which could be 0 if they used an attack with no ground friction, leading to some weird behavior, especially near ledges. I believe a good example of this is whenever a character would slide off the stage, if you did a floor hug type tech, and then you would just go really, really far down diagonally, really fast. Players in parry stun can now be pushed by other players after 5 frames. Parry stun is now rooted after 5 frames. This allows players to space their moves normally without worrying about overshooting a stunned player due to the lack of pushback, while still preventing them from pushing the stunned player off a ledge. So this is really cool. You're not going to accidentally run through somebody, but you also accidentally won't push them off ledge and allow them to cancel the parry stun. Performing a wall tech will now prevent grabbing the ledge for 30 frames unless you start an attack. Previously, this would only apply after the wall tech state naturally ended, so canceling it with an action that can instantly grab ledge, such as the early frames of Absa's double jump, would allow the character to grab ledge after a wall tech much faster than intended. Fixed a bug that randomized the RNG seed at the start of a match in arcade mode. Next, we have a few item balance adjustments. How will this affect the meta? The Beehive reduced the maximum duration when passed to another character. Previously, the Beehive would reset its duration every time it was passed. This could lead to Beehive staying active for long periods of time, which some players found frustrating. I'm some players, by the way. Now, the duration will be set to the maximum of its current duration, or 3 seconds, instead of resetting to 12 seconds on every pass. The initial duration of 12 seconds, however, is unchanged. And finally, the Proximity Mine Final Explosion hit pause has been adjusted to match the animation better. That's very impactful. Thank you, Dan. Next up, let's talk about Arcane. Forward Special will now automatically perform tail swipe on contact with opponents only if you're holding the special button. Previously, opponents could stop Arcane from recovering with this move by getting near it and then dodging the tail swipe. Now Arcane can release Special to disable the auto swipe, allowing him to continue through an opponent. This is a change we actually talked about yesterday in the Nult video if you guys watched that, so I'm really glad to see that into the game. I feel like that'll make Arcane a lot less clunky. Forward Special knockback angle has gone from 50 to 55. The non-empowered version of this move was KOing a bit too early off stage, especially with all the ways Orcane can combo into it. During forward special leap, Orcane can now only absorb a puddle while rising. This prevents situations where Orcane would leap right above the puddle and get the empowered version of the move. Now Orcane will need to leap into the puddle from below if he wants to absorb it in motion. Next, we also have back air hit 1 active frames have gone from 3 to 4, and back air frames between hits have gone from 1 to 0. This prevents some odd situations where back air could whiff on opponents where it looked like it should hit them. So back air is going to be a little bit more active, which is kind of crazy. That move is like very, very good. But I'm not mad about it. I play Orcane, so I'm sitting happy as a bee or whatever. Next, Lorena. Lorena can now only spawn 1 chair per airtime, so there's the same rule as Rano Bubble. This change does not apply if chair was spawned before Lorena became airborne, so she can always spawn a chair while recovering as long as it's not on cooldown. Landing on her offstage platform does not refresh this resource. This change applies both to neutral special and down special chair summons, and is intended to prevent her from constantly refreshing her resources while being edgeguarded. While these extended chair recoveries have plenty of counterplay at top level gameplay, they give Lorena too many chances to recover with high reversal potential, at the level of play where Lorena players are able to do them, but the opponents aren't doing the optimal edgeguards. In general, we've been gradually trying to address excessive rinse and repeat edgeguards by adding diminishing returns to recovery moves, or limiting recovery resources, and this is an extreme outlier on a character whose recovery isn't intended to be one of her weaknesses. I don't know if you guys saw, there was a Twitter clip going around where Lorena was fighting, I believe it's Durai on Rano, who Rano's pretty good at ledge guarding, right? And she just kind of respawns and refreshes her chair for about 30-40 seconds, and then she makes it back, right? There's not a lot that some characters could do to threaten her, so this will mean she just can't really stall off stage with that anymore, and is overall a pretty healthy change. Finally, with our final and biggest change of this patch, we have Slade's Bomb, which is no longer spawning with its hitbox interpolated. This prevents a rare situation where the bomb would detect an opponent, but the explosion would miss them only if it hit Slade's hand. So this was definitely a problem. I would see that. I had my good Umfi Ilu. He posted a video where if you would throw Slade's bomb up next to Crag, right, it would detect Crag and then make the bomb go off, and then the hitbox would not hit Crag, it would only hit Slade. So this is just kind of a bug fix to that. So nothing super crazy. Overall though, super cool patch. Not really a lot of balance changes. I believe that's because we have Evo coming up this month. But really cool features being added with the new Announcer. I think that's actually super sick. And then also the nameplate's just a new way to customize your profile and show yourself off. Let me know though what you guys think about the new event track rotation. I'm really curious how you guys are feeling about it. I think it's a really cool change. I'm really positive to it. But I'm curious if everyone's feeling that way or if it's kind of just me thing. Other than that though, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I have a lot of really fun videos, including a tier list coming out soon. If you guys want to be a part of that tier list video, there's a little link down in the description you can fill out and let me know who you think is good, who you think is mid. Until then though, I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now!